Welcome to the webinar series. This webinar is on how to cope with anxiety and stress during this pandemic. Conceived, designed, and delivered to highlight the root cause of anxiety and stress and on the various tools and techniques one can easily apply to cope with anxiety and stress during this pandemic.
The entire humanity is fighting against an invisible enemy, the novel coronavirus, spreading fear, anxiety, and stress among people all over the world during this pandemic. Health is a matter of choice, not a mystery of chance. This is said by Aristotle. This entire webinar is designed based on this premise that health is a matter of choice, because it is in our hands to see that we are healthy bodily and mentally, despite of whatever is happening all around, because we are equipped with all mechanisms within us to be healthy. On that premise, this whole webinar is designed. Now let us see what is at risk because of this. The first and foremost thing is health. The health is at risk, both physically and mentally. We are all worried what would happen to our health. That is at risk all over. Now, secondly, jobs are at risk. In the sense, people are worried what would happen to my job in the near future, because the question of millions of jobs are at stake all over the world. And you see the businesses, because the businesses are suffering. All over the businesses are struggling to cope up with this situation arose out of this COVID-19, because the whole fundamentals are changed for the businesses to run because they used to run for several decades on whatever presumptions and platforms they are in. But now the whole thing is changed scenario. So every business is suffering and they are struggling, revamping, redoing their entire structures and trying to cope up with this. Some may survive, some may not. Education is at risk. The students are not able to go to the institutions, schools, colleges, and universities because of the restrictions. And now it has become very famous, online classes, online examinations. Whereas once upon a time, the distance education means we used to treat that as third-class education. And only going to the institutions and studying there used to be a very premier thing. But now, see the difference. We are now coming back to that same thing, what we hated earlier and what we rated as bad earlier. That is the situation. Lifestyle. You see, the lifestyle of the people is totally changed. Now we see the people with the masks all around and people standing in the circles in front of whatever establishment, business establishments you go for your provisions or services. And you see the new lifestyle of working from home. And this has changed a lot, creating a lot of stress in you. That is what is happening. Livelihood. You see, the livelihood of the people is got affected. We have seen the lakhs of people walking down to their villages on the highways for miles together, in some cases hundreds of miles together. They're all walking on the road to reach their houses. And relationships, when it comes to relationships, it happened two different ways. One, the family is confined to four walls, whereas they never used to be there on 24/7 basis. But they are confined, all of them, into the same houses. The diagonally opposite to this, what other way happened is families are apart for weeks, months together because the transportation systems are completely closed. And these are the two ways the people suffered as far as relations. Now, what has happened is only social media is helping people to be together. And whatever that socialization process is totally different now. It is social distancing. Now, wellness in the sense, combining all these things. If you want to be well, and if you want to be defined as you are well, you need to have good job, you need to have good health, you need to have good education, livelihood, and all smooth and without any restrictions. You should have a freedom to move, freedom to think, freedom. And this is all affected now. Your wellness is affected. That's the main problem everybody is facing and stressed up with this situation. Let us see what is wellness. Let us study about wellness. Wellness got 6 dimensions to it. Now, let me start with the first left side, social dimension. We have already seen that socialization has become social distancing and wearing of mask, all these things. I don't want to repeat. Then physical, yes, same thing what we discussed just now. Environmental, coming to environmental, yes. At macro level, yes, there is a lot of change we have seen. At macro level, we could see the stars in the sky after a long time. Otherwise, we never used to see the stars in the night. Now we are able to breathe fresh air because the pollution is down. Even we have, I think most of us we are filling petrol only once in a month, whereas we used to do 4 or 5 times in a month. That is a drastic reduction. And burning of fossil fuels has come down totally. There are no aeroplanes all over the world. So the drastic change in the environmental at macro level, but what is good for us, which we should acknowledge. At the same time, yes, at micro level, if you see, we're all worried in the sense, we are worried what is going to happen to me, where this coronavirus will come through the newspaper, through the milk packet, through the vegetables, fruits, or I touched the lift button, what would happen? A lot of obsessive this anxiety is setting in us, washing hands several times. See, I go and touch something suddenly before dinner, then again I go back, rush back to again wash my hands and then come. So this sort of thing is happening all over. Then come to the spiritual. Yes, we are all spiritual oriented society, and people used to go to religious places like mosques, churches, gurudwaras, every week at certain periodicities as they decide. And now for weeks together, months together, the religious places are closed. We are not able to go to offer our prayers as we used to. So that is giving rise to affecting your wellness. In that dimension also we are affected. Coming to the intellectual level. At intellectual level, in the sense, I would give an example here. Like one is working as a reporter for a Hindu newspaper. He used to just venture out from his house every morning, go around the city, look for some whatever is happening, and if he finds something is happening somewhere, then he picks up all the information and he puts in a very systematic way. By evening before it is printed, then his job is just to see that it goes and it gets a morning, people read that news. But that person is not able to do that because he's confined to his home and is not able to move around like all those in academic fraternity. They're not able to go to their institutions to teach. Same thing with all other workers. They are not able to go to their offices to do their work. This is intellectual blockade is there. So that is the reason that wellness is affected. Now, finally, coming to emotional. All whatever we do ultimately it boils down to emotions of the people. Our life is nothing but a bundle of emotions. Like there is a saying, wants, effort, satisfaction constitute the subject matter of academics. Same thing also holds good for us. Wants, efforts, and satisfaction. We revolve around this. We have some want. For example, somebody wants to buy a car and he make all efforts. He just saves money for next 3-4 years and saves all that money and buys that car, and then ultimately he goes with his family to the city for a beautiful restaurant and come back, and there ultimately it boils down to emotions, in the sense from the time he takes the key from that dealer and till he comes back from the restaurant, you see that everybody's joyous, and they are all enjoying. They are all with a positive energy flowing in them, positive emotions flowing in them. This is, I mean, emotional angle to our wellness. But this is also affected because your entire plans got shattered. So that is one way we got affected. Let us see that these emotions, what little basic about these emotions, because our entire life is associated with these emotions. There are 6 types of very basic emotions: happiness, sadness, fear, disgust, anger, and surprise. If you see these 6, they form into all several other different emotions. Like in the case of 3 colors, red, blue, and yellow, these are the 3 basic colors, form rest all colors with different permutations and combinations. Similarly, these 6 emotions, basic emotions, they give rise to all other remaining emotions. Let us see how that happens in the next. This you can see here, anger, this will form into irritated, hateful, furious, envious. Like anxiousness is there. This will turn into apprehensive, insecure, worried, afraid, this way. So if you see all these emotions in this circle, you make into 2, right part and left part. If you see the right part, it is positive feelings to you, positive feelings, energies and rain. And if you see the left side, it is all negative feelings are mounted here. Stress, burnout, and related, and anxious, sadness, and tired and angry. Now, what used to happen before COVID-19, most of us, we are towards this positive feeling side. We run every day in and day out to be happy and to feel these positive feelings. That is only the thing that man runs to see that he is in this side of the circle and not entering the other side. Yes, some people, they struggle to be in the left side, but they also struggle to come toward the right side of the circle. This is true. But because of this COVID-19, since it is a pandemic affecting all the people all over the world, and there's a fear, anxiety, and stress building up, all these positive feelings are just fading day by day, and these negative feelings are coming up day by day. And this is what has been happening. These are the emotions going through our minds during this pandemic: stress, anxiety majorly, and of course, disgust, anger, aggression, sadness, fear, loneliness. Now, let me tell you one more thing. This stress and anxiety, there is a need to study further. External cause, stress comes out of external cause. This anxiety, it is from the internal cause. Relation to threat is a stress. In this case, like let us say COVID-19 is a threat. So the stress builds up. reaction to the stress is anxiety, and subsides. This stress subsides once cause disappears. Let us say if COVID-19 gone away, but still stress built up because of COVID-19 might go away. But this anxiety will lingers even after, even without the trigger, COVID-19. And if stress lasts for long, we call it as a chronic stress. And if anxiety lasts for long, it is going to become anxiety disorder, which requires more energy to deal with that. Now, if you look at both stress and anxiety, they are for fight, flight, or freeze mechanism. They are built in human beings thousands and lakhs of years ago into this body as a protection mechanism. It is actually designed to protect us, not to punish us. That we have to note that point and realize that point and acknowledge that. Then we can deal with these two very happily. Let me just share a story, a short story of a lady as an example. Her name is P. Jadingi. She's a Mizo woman living nearby forest. And as usual, she went to a forest to collect firewood. And she took her few months old baby in her hands and walked down little deeper into the forest. She keeps the baby there, and then she started collecting firewood all around. And suddenly she noticed a sound, a roaring sound of a tiger. And when she turned back, she could see a tiger approaching towards her, and baby is in between. You see the situation, and within seconds, her body got prepared to fight with the tiger. And the adrenaline pumped into her body, cortisol pumped into her blood, and immediately she got prepared in that mode of fight, flight, or freeze. But she decided to fight with the tiger to safeguard herself. Immediately she jumps towards the tiger before the tiger jumps on her, and she struck tiger on its head and killing the tiger instantaneously on the spot. And thereby she saved her life, she saved baby's life, also she saved one more life, the life by the time she was pregnant. So this is the scene, the original photograph of this lady when she killed that tiger. And this is a classic example I have given. And we all might have gone through some or the other situation, might be seeing a snake and jumping away and getting away and all, whatever, so many situations. And we must have come into that situation where this mechanism of releasing these hormones into our body and getting our body prepared to fight, flight, or freeze mode. Many a times we might have gone through that, if you recollect. Now, let us understand as how exactly, what mechanism, what anatomically and physiologically, what happened in her body at that moment and what happens in our body in such a situations, what we come across. This is a stress response system. How this goes on is, first, these are the three glands, hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal. This is called a HPA axis also, flight, fright, or fright mode. This hypothalamus releases a hormone to pituitary gland, prompting pituitary gland to release further hormone to adrenal gland. And immediately, once the adrenal gland receives a hormone from pituitary gland, adrenal gland releases immediately cortisol and adrenaline into the blood of the person. And when these two, the most powerful hormones, are released into the blood, spontaneously what happens? The body gets prepared to fight or flight mode. How? Because at that moment, the body's condition is to fight or flight or safeguard life, but not any other systems, whatever is consuming the energy. So in this situation, the moment the hormones are released into the blood, your blood flow into your digestive system is stopped momentarily, and your flow into your immunity system is stopped. Thereby, the blood is paves way. It paves way for the blood to flow to your hands and legs, making them to fight with that threat, the physical threat at that moment. And this is what exactly happens. But you see this is happens in case of a physical threat. But what we face are all psychological threats, but still that happens. His name is Bruce Lipton. He's the authority on the subject. He's a cell biologist, well-known, famous cell biologist in the world. Let us see, just I have picked up only a few seconds of his video, which talks on stress. Please listen to this.
Today, the stress that we face in our world is not little short bursts, but actually 24/7, 365. Every day, based on what's going on in the world, financially, health-wise, whatever, stress of that information is released in our body in the form of stress hormones, and they end up shutting down the growth and the immune system. And I go, well, that's not the original intention, a short burst of protection, because chronic protection leads to chronic problems because of its ability to shut down the maintenance of the body and the immune system. And that if we can eliminate that stress, then what we can do is actually recover our health again. So our health is not due to a defect in our body. Our health is just due to a mechanism that is out of control.
So what he says, health is not because of defect in the body. Health is because the mechanism, we are not able to control that mechanism in us. The original intention of all this mechanism inbuilt in our body is to protect our body against physical threats lakhs of years ago. But that is still continuing. We are not able to cope up and have a control over that such mechanisms and realize that. That's the point I wanted to make. Now let us see, we see so many in the form of a tiger. But these are all psychological threats. They are not physical threats, but still our mind, the body and mind realizes these are like physical threats. And same thing happens. These hormones getting released into your blood and all that, whatever I have explained. Now he's a boss. Boss is firing at the employee. And stress built up in him. Yeah, he has gone to freeze mode. Now let us see. This gentleman, he has just seen some message. It could be an emoji he has seen, but it has created such a anger in him. Within few seconds, he is not able to control himself. This is the agony. There is no physical threat. It is only psychological threat. The fellow who sent that message is not going to come and kill him. Of course, he may lose his job or do something, and whatever it may be. But one has to realize that this is not a physical stress, it is a mental stress. See this lady over here, got stuck in a traffic, and you see her furious face, unable to cope up with that stress and anxiety built up in her. And she cannot just fly away from that topic. That is a reality. She has to understand, and then the coping up mechanism one can understand. But now, friends, the one more thing is added to all these normal things what we have been going through all through the time, the psychological stressors, not physical. That one more, you can see this COVID-19 coronavirus. This threat added to all our existing threats. And this threat has taken over all other threats because there's no boss around, there's no like serious messages, there's no traffic around. So this threat has taken over all the psychological threats now. Now this is the threat for us, and we have to deal with this threat. It is first and foremost, we have to realize it is not physical threat, it is a psychological threat we are facing. Now let's go deeper into this anxiety. What this anxiety causes? This fear, we are worried, so what is going to happen? We are anxious. Uneasiness creeps up. Then inability to be calm or still. You are not able to control yourself. Cold, sweaty hands always, and shortness of breath. Obsessed with current thoughts. Obsessed with recurrent thoughts. This is also called rumination. Whatever your bad thoughts built up all over your past life, sometimes 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that thing comes in now. Some of you might have felt that. That same thing, the same reel will be repeating in our brain again and again and again. So obsessed with recurrent thoughts is also one symptom, a major symptom of anxiety. Restlessness. People become restless. You can see whenever you go out, people are all restless. And then ultimately, problems sleeping. You don't get proper sleep during the night. That's a problem. Then let us see how to cope with anxiety and stress during this pandemic. Getting help for anxiety and stress. The first and foremost thing, if it goes beyond our hands, like what I said, anxiety becomes anxiety disorder already, then we need to take help of psychiatrists. And they use medicines, chemicals, they pump in some chemicals into your blood, and so that normalizes, neutralizes your fears and other things. That is the highest form now available. Then before that, psychotherapy. This psychologists can do, and they need not use the chemicals and tablets, but they can talk to you, and like CBT, then they can treat you. Then the first level is lifestyle changes. This is there with you. You can do, you need not go anywhere. There is no need to go to any other person like psychologist or psychiatrist. And at this stage, lifestyle changes you can do and we can do. Yes, we can do. How? Let us see one by one. Number one, it is very famous all over the world, all through the ages and all through the generations. Yes, but most of us, we neglect. If you do 25 to 30 minutes of rigorous exercise, a body exercise, yes, your body can be fit. You will have a feel-good factor and a sound body in sound mind. This is one which is known to everybody and neglected by most people. But the few who stick to this, yes, they enjoy the benefits of health. And if you are not doing, but it's better start this at least now, because this curve is not going to just end in a month or so. It is going to be for a longer time. So this is the first and foremost thing I would like to say. Second, diaphragmatic respiration, it is called. Most of the people, we think that we are breathing perfectly and scientifically, but over the period, what happens, you develop some wrong method of breathing. And actually, scientifically, the correct breathing is the diaphragmatic breathing. When you are inhaling, you see this, when you are inhaling, your lungs are filled with air and it becomes bigger and bigger. And then your diaphragm is pushed towards down, towards your stomach. As a result, your belly should come out. When you are inhaling, when your lungs are expanding, that pushes this diaphragm down, and then your belly should come out. This is the correct method of inhaling. And exhaling, if you are pressing all your air out from your lungs out, thereby your diaphragm is going upwards here, paving way for more space here, then your belly should go inside. That's a perfect way of breathing. Yes. Are we doing this? You can check. You keep your hand on your stomach, inhale, exhale, and see that when you are inhaling, your stomach is coming up, rising, exhaling, stomach is going down. That's a perfect way. And this, if you do this meticulously for 5-10 minutes, the anxiety levels will certainly come down on the spot. Now, sleep. This is well known all over that at least 7 to 8 hours one has to sleep. But this gets affected because of the whole day. Whatever time consumed, more time consumed in a day's activities, all that will turn into this cutting sleep time. You try to adjust because you have to get up in the morning as per your whatever routine. So what suffers is sleep. So please ensure that if you have a sound sleep, yes, you can build up. And it's also required for building your immunity. Immunity building is one very important thing one has to do during this pandemic period. So all these three things will give rise to building of your immunity. The other one is food. Yes. There is a naturopathy, there is one saying, man eats taste as food, and all other animals eat food as taste. I repeat, man eats taste as food, whereas all other animals eat food as taste. That is, you observe that it is what happens. And let me tell you, take you to one most important slide now, and where you will see two URLs here. Indian Council of Medical Research, under this National Institute of Nutrition, Hyderabad. It is an institution for they're making all sorts of research in this field for more than 100 years. This institution has come out with a beautiful brochure on nutrition, lifestyle, and immunity. I have given link here. You can also browse and get this on the net. It's a beautiful brochure, about 3-4 pages brochure, which tells you what are all types of foods you have to eat these days to build your immunity. Most scientifically, they have given this to the public. And that other one, My Plate for the Day, always used to be there on the network, on their website, which says what type of food you generally have to eat and what ages, old people and young people, babies, and what your plate should contain, proteins, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, and whatever minerals. All that is very well explained there. I suggest that this is very useful when it comes to how to maintain your food habits now during this pandemic and build your immunity. This is Nutrition, Lifestyle, Immunity brochure I just taken, and you can see this on the web and get benefited. Now come to the other aspect. This is autogenic meditation. This is nothing but one has to just feel the entire body. Let me tell you in 3 steps. One has to sit in a comfortable place with a close without stucking it anywhere obstructing. Be free mentally. Start diaphragmatic breathing initially. Then start feeling and acknowledging that your legs are relaxing and feel the weight of the legs and feel that warmth in the legs. Similarly, come to your hands. Similarly, go to different body parts, ultimately the head, and feel that heaviness of the whole body, warmth you get out of that, and the relaxation you get out of that. Whatever diaphragmatic breathing you started, you are there within that, and you enjoy that feeling. This is scientifically, even recently in 2006, it's proved that it brings down your anxiety to a greater level, brings down. Then this is bibliotherapy. This is nothing but you take your most interesting book and then you start reading this book. Thereby, you get relaxed, you get your stress levels down. Being with the nature, this is what is required. If you go to somewhere, some garden, some park, or anywhere, whenever some trees are there, and just be there for 20 minutes in a day, then they say that eases your stress, is scientifically proved. Then the aromatherapy. Some of these oils extracted from the plants, like, let me tell you one, this lemongrass oil. When you put it in a boiling water or hot water, then it emanates beautiful this fragrance. And those fragrances, some are proved that they can relieve your stress and anxiety. Then come to this modern days problem, what problem we got out of this gadget. People are glued to all social media day in and day out, and this detoxing is required. Digital detoxing is very much required, in the sense to keep your mind fresh, keep your mind calm and cool and away from stress and anxiety. That you can keep all the gadgets in some box or somewhere in the corner. Be away from that at least for 1 hour, or if you want to set 2 hours, yes, it's up to you. Be away from that, and that gives you a lot of anxiety, lot of that brings down your stress and anxiety to greater level. Then come to this, you see this here, except this cup and chair, there is nothing else here all around. This is called minimalism. So not to keep all that unwanted trash all around you, that also brings down your stress levels drastically. Like I would like to say that Dr. Abdul Kalam, when he's coming out of Rashtrapati Bhavan a previous day, he gave a statement that he's going to carry only 2 suitcases with him out from Rashtrapati Bhavan, apart from his collection of books. That simplicity, but he lived a great life. With that simplicity, what happens in our case, we go to malls, we go to supermarkets, and then we keep on buying. It's called impulse buying, and bring all that stuff, and sometimes we use certain things only for 1 day, 2 days, 1 month, and then we'll never use, but the thing will be there somewhere lying in your house. So there is a need to actually clean up your house and be free and enjoy that feelings. Now, one more thing is here that, in the modern day society, even though it is not immediately suggestible, but if you have nothing else to learn, no other tools or techniques available at that point of time, if you have some system in front of you, there are some websites which deal with your, like, you can bring down your stress, and they are designed to bring down your stress and anxiety level. If you just log into and just follow the instructions, maybe within 10 or 15 minutes, your anxiety levels can be brought down. Like, I can give you some websites names. Personal Gen is one, Headspace is another one, Happify is another one, and GPS for the Soul, there is one. I repeat, Personal Gen, Headspace, Happify, GPS for the Soul. This is also, I wanted to say, available. If nothing else available with you, at least this is available. And then this, you have to connect to somewhere, some higher level, higher spirit, higher than you. This helps you even after doing whatever possible you have done, but you are not able to get the result, then at least you can feel that it is because of the higher power. They don't want me to get this. That sort of thing will ease your tensions. So you need to have some higher power connection. And I want to tell you a very important one technique, coping technique. This is called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 coping technique. All of you can follow me quickly. Now, this depends on, this is designed on your 5 senses. Number 1, sight. What you do, now follow me. What you do now, sit in a relaxed position and look around. Like, I'm looking at a AC over there, one fan, one computer in front of me, one phone in front of me, and acknowledge. Yes, you are seeing, you are noticing, acknowledge each one. And then one paper in front of me. So acknowledge all these 5 objects in your mind, each object you acknowledge. And then come to the other one, your kinesthetic touch feel. This touch feel, start with your legs. You press little downwards, you feel that, yes, you feel that, acknowledge that. And then you touch your shirt, yes, the texture you can feel. Touch your goggles, spectacles, and you can feel. So this way, if you touch your computer, the 4 things you are touching, and you feel, yes, there is a change in you, because you have to acknowledge all that. Then this auditory, listen to 3 sounds. A sound of mind, whatever is you are hearing, a fan sound, and some horn sound somewhere, horn of a vehicle. So 3 things you acknowledge mentally. Then come to your olfactory, your smell. You try to smell 2 things around you, whatever 2 things. Maybe some smell coming from the kitchen, things where are at home, some other jasmine smell or whatever. If you are not able to just get that, just imagine some good smell, what you like, and feel that. And that ultimately gustatory. This is whatever your favorite dish, just think of that favorite dish, and you can feel that as if you are eating, and feel all the sensations. So when you activate all these 5 senses one by one, most systematically, methodologically, it is proved that you can bring down your stress and anxiety levels drastically down. At any point of time, when you are anywhere sitting or in any situation you are in, stressed up and with anxiety, you can do this. Now, let me go to the final one, meditation. National Scientific Guild of US as per their studies, some 40 to 60,000 thoughts pass through in our mind per day. And 85% of these thoughts are negative, and 95% of thoughts are repetitive in nature. Whatever we are thinking today, we thought yesterday, and we are going to think tomorrow also. So this is what happens in our mind. And how to harness the positive thoughts and how to control and take away these negative thoughts, this is the magic in your success. So meditation helps you in doing this. Let me just take you further meditation, what way it helps. You can see here, anxiety can be brought down, and heart disease, if you have, yes, you will have a better health. Chronic pains, it can bring down. High blood pressure, it can bring down. And depression, it can bring down. And cancer, in the sense, the cancer patients, if they are doing meditation, they improve their chances of their recovery very fast. Sleep problems, asthma, these are all, apart from keeping you very calm, cool, and composed always. I'm going to guide you through this simple and powerful meditation technique right now. Please follow my suggestions. Sit in a comfortable position wherever you are sitting right now. Sit in a comfortable position wherever you are sitting right now. Your spine, backbone need to be straight, as straight as possible. Please adjust and then follow my suggestions closely. Now close your eyes and keep your focus at the center of your forehead. Breathe in and breathe out slowly at your own pace. Enjoy the breathing process. Feel the sensation through your nostrils while breathing in and breathing out. Of course, it is only natural, but thoughts will keep on coming to your mind like flock of birds. When you start with this, while you are unable to focus on your breathing and a feeling of here and now, instead of giving up, you may recognize the incoming thoughts and allow them to pass away naturally without feeling the pressure to think deeply or suppress them. As you repeat this method of allowing all incoming thoughts to naturally pass, you will gradually reach a point where you are able to experience a no thought state, a completely here and now experience. Enjoy the feeling of you being with you. Enjoy that feeling of you being with you. Enjoy the experience of here and now. Enjoy and relax. Let me give you two more techniques to help you bring back your focus on your breathing and make this process Furthermore, interesting. In this first technique, you can try giving a shape, form, color, or order to your breathing to enable a much deeper level of concentration. For instance, you may visualize breathing in the smell of a jasmine flower or sandalwood. You may visualize breathing in the smell of a jasmine flower or sandalwood. Enjoy the feeling of breathing the fragrance of a jasmine flower or sandalwood. One more technique. You may choose a favorite word, place, or an idea and get deeply involved into the same. For instance, you can visualize yourself sitting at the bottom of a waterfall and imagine the droplets and shower sprinkle on your face and entire body and refreshing your entire system inside and outside. Enjoy that feeling. It is at this point where you will start realizing the inner calmness and blissfulness. And this is the point when your entire body and mind reconnects with nature and starts rejuvenating. Enjoy the feelings, the feeling of calmness, blissfulness, and a feeling of being with you. Enjoy the feelings, feeling of calmness, blissfulness, and a feeling of being with you for a few more moments as you wish. Enjoy the feelings. Now, you can slowly open your eyes and enjoy the relaxed state. Now, you can slowly open your eyes and enjoy the relaxed state. You can now open your eyes. You can now open your eyes. Now, what we have covered, let me just tell you, of course, I'm disturbing your relaxed state. Effects of COVID-19 we have seen. Wellness dimensions. For wellness, what are all the dimensions? Role of emotions. Effects of anxiety. What is anxiety? What is stress? They are like twins, not much of a difference. Physiology of stress, as this is the crux, as how the stress builds up in us, we have learned. Actually, this mechanism, what for it is built in our bodies, we have seen that lakhs of years back, yes. for protection as a protection mechanism. But continuous protectionism is like continuous stress that we have to realize and be away from that. Techniques to cope with anxiety and stress, we have seen several techniques. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding technique we have seen. It's a very powerful technique. Then ultimately, of course, meditation practice. There are 101 types of meditation. Whatever you choose, the most simplest one is what I taught to you. Just sit in a place, straight to your backbone, breathe. Observe your breathing. Let the thoughts come and go. Let them go. But over a period, you can bring down to zero. You start feeling totally rejuvenated, totally connected to the higher spiritual level. And that gives complete relaxation. That gives have a control over your mechanism of this, how to deal with this stress and anxiety. And thereby, you also develop immunity and taking good food and doing exercises, whatever I taught. If you do all this, I'm 100% sure we all can deal with this and cope up with this stress anxiety during this pandemic with this small. Thank you very much, all of you. And let me tell you, my daughter Rashmi, she's the one who is behind designing all these slides and helped me out. And I must acknowledge my daughter Rashmi in this project.
If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, The Method Transformation. Thank you.